Tonight, the city of Houston celebrates Barbara Bush. The special tributes in store were live from Herman Park. And there's a center at MD Anderson named after their daughter, who died at age 3. The incredible contributions the Bush family has made to fight leukemia.
Plus, they were wrongfully arrested at a Starbucks in Philadelphia. Now these two men are publicly speaking about what happened and how they want meaningful change. The news starts right now. And we are starting with this. The city of Houston now getting ready for a big celebration to honor the life of former First Lady Barbara Bush. The downtown event kicks off in less than 2 hours. And it is the first of many ways Houstonians are paying tribute to the woman known as America's grandmother.
We have team coverage on everything happening downtown tonight and what you need to know about the visitation and funeral for Mrs. Bush. Len Cannon is live outside City Hall with how tonight's event is shaping up. Len.
Reka, Jason, what a spectacular day to have a celebration of life for the former First Lady Barbara Bush. Let me step out of the way and set the stage for you. You are looking just in front of City Hall. There are seats for a few hundred people, but also a few hundred more can stand behind and along the reflecting pond this afternoon. The program does not start until 6. I'm told it will be a jam-packed 50-minute program, including Mayor Turner, the Poet Laureate of Houston, the Houston Children's Choir, an opera singer, and 3 men affectionately known as the Three Amigos, 3 top religious leaders here in Houston. They will all be either performing or speaking coming up at 6 o'clock in a 50-minute program. This, of course, is called the Celebration of Life. Tonight there is also a celebration of reading happening, one of Barbara Bush's most favorite topics. That is happening at a gala at the Hobby Center right across the street. Jason Miles is there, and he joins us with some big names that are also going to be there tonight. Jason?
Hey there, Lynn. I think I can see you across the street from in front of the Hobby Center here. You're at City Hall. You mentioned that's a celebration of life. This is a celebration of reading. Take a look at the Bush Houston Literacy Foundation website. It says this event is sold out here at the Hobby Center tonight, adding that the event will go on as planned despite Mrs. Bush's death this week. The event features some book covers by the authors who will be here this year, the website that is. That includes comedian Jim Gaffigan, Ohio Governor John Kasich. He ran for president a couple of years ago, you may recall. Organizers say they look forward to celebrating the power of literacy and honoring Mrs. Bush's legacy. As we all know, literacy is something Barbara Bush championed as First Lady, and in all of the years since then, her son Neil Bush founding the Barbara Bush Houston Literacy Foundation 5 years ago. Tonight's event, an annual fundraiser that helps continue the mission.
She recognized that reading can be transformational, and that if more people read, write, and comprehend, that a lot of our world's problems would be solved.
I sat down with the foundation's president earlier this week. She said all seem to agree that moving forward with the fundraiser tonight, the celebration of reading, is something Mrs. Bush would definitely have wanted. Tickets started at about $100. You could have been a sponsor for about $150,000. So think about all the money that's going to be raised for a cause that was so near and dear to the former First Lady. We'll hear from one of the authors, by the way, coming up at 5 o'clock. Lynn?
All right, Jason, thank you so much. I'm sure Barbara Bush is thrilled about what is happening in her city tonight, not only with the Literacy Foundation Gala, but a celebration of life that will happen here again in front of City Hall at 6 o'clock. Come on down because the weather is spectacular. And David Paul, how's it looking the rest of the evening?
It is going to be a beautiful, beautiful evening in Houston, Texas. Temps outside right now are warm. It's 77 at Hobby. Sugarland is 80, but we've got this northeast breeze, and so the humidity is way down there. It just feels good outside right now. Here's what's going to happen. Lovely evening. A cloudy, cool Friday. So tomorrow we cloud up, and it will be coolish during the day tomorrow. And then Saturday, we're still expecting some showers, but at the moment, I've been able to back off on our severe weather threat. So here's a closer look at tomorrow's visitation. A high temp near 70, but we're going to spend most of the day in the 60s, so comfortably cool. There's a 10% chance for a sprinkle tomorrow. Now, we'll talk about the higher rain chances going into Saturday, what it means for your plans here in Houston, and then we'll look ahead to what should be a gorgeous next week. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, David. The Barbara Bush Public Library in Cypress Creek has been closed since Hurricane Harvey when it flooded. But this week, library workers are stocking the shelves with thousands of new books. And Matt Doherty now showing us how the former First Lady's passing is giving workers a greater purpose as they prepare to reopen.
For the first time in nearly 8 months.
I mean, almost all of them had to be gotten rid of because of the risk of mildew and mold.
The Barbara Bush Public Library in Cypress Creek is once again ready for books. The 15-year-old library sits within eyesight of Cypress Creek. Flooding from Hurricane Harvey didn't just damage the building, it also took
thousands of books.
More than 40,000 to be exact. Everything on the first floor, the children's floor, the place where the library's namesake, former First Lady Barbara Bush, would come read to the kids.
She would come to the story times and read to the kids and just have that special moment where, you know, she's showing that literacy in action.
The building is a tribute to the former First Lady and her love for the written word.
Libraries are more than a home for books. Libraries are information centers that allow us to learn more about ourselves and the world in which we live. That was a quote given by Barbara Bush.
Contrary to the photos, the platform Mrs. Bush chose to make her own isn't only for kids, it's for the parents too, who might not be able to read.
It's really hard to see.
We take it for granted because a lot of people who are illiterate, they're kind of hidden because they don't express that or embarrassed that they don't know how to read.
Librarians say Mrs. Bush saw the kids as a gateway, allowing an opening to the family so the adults, too ashamed to say they're struggling, could get help too.
And she recognized that it starts in terms you got to start with literacy services and with kids and teaching them how to read. But then when you recognize that those parents may have those same challenges, that's when you can reach out and provide wraparound services.
We're keeping that alive by getting the library reopened after the flood.
Hopefully in time for the summer reading, not just for the kids, but for everyone in the family with a desire to read. From Cypress, Matt Doherty, KHOU 11 News.
No doubt. Thank you, Matt. Staff members hope the library will be finished and ready for the public next month, and that would be just in time for the summer reading program for kids.
Well, if you're planning to pay your respects to Mrs. Bush tomorrow at St. Martin's Church, there are several things you need to know before you head out there. Jessica Borg is live at St. Martin's Episcopal, where security is already very tight. Jessica.
That's right. They're expecting big crowds. Preparations here at St. Martin's Episcopal Church are underway. The church is getting ready to accommodate thousands of people who will be paying their respects here tomorrow. If you will be one of them, Houston police say you need to follow specific instructions. You cannot come directly to St. Martin's Episcopal Church. You'll park at 2nd Baptist about 2 miles away, entering from Voss Road. The parking lot will open at 10 a.m. There, you'll go through a metal detector and security screening. Don't bring oversized bags or purses. Shuttle service to St. Martin's will start at 11:30 a.m. The public is invited to pay their respects from noon to midnight. Thousands are expected, and there will also be dignitaries and heads of state in town for the funeral the next day. Security throughout the city will be tight with some road closures. Woodway Drive between the two churches will only be open for shuttle buses. Police say Woodway will be closed between Pine Shadows Drive and Post Oak Lane by the Loop. West of that, traffic will be restricted. Sage Road will also be closed.
We urge you to please, let's all be on our best behavior. Let's all be patient. If you don't have to be in the area, you should avoid the area if at all possible. Because the area is already congested to start with.
Now, the funeral service here on Saturday will be closed to the public. About 1,500 invited guests are expected. Barbara Bush is said to have wanted a simple ceremony. Reka?
Thank you, Jessica. And we should mention also that if people plan to take Uber or Lyft, they still have to go to 2nd Baptist and then take the shuttle to St. Martin's, something else to keep in mind.
Yeah, no doubt.
Coming up, KHOU 11 is honoring Barbara Bush's love of literacy.
And we are asking you to stand for Houston and join us. It is the easy way you can get involved to keep her love of reading going.
And an Aggie honor, the special plans for Mrs. Bush at Texas A&M and the fond memories her friends there are sharing.
Plus, it's the first time we're hearing from the men arrested at a Starbucks what they hope will change after the controversial incident. And
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Lynn Cannon, standing in front of City Hall. Coming up at 6 o'clock, a celebration of life program to honor the late First Lady Barbara Bush. One of her passionate causes, as we know, literacy. And tonight, KHOU is standing for Houston by allowing you to help to further that cause. And Larry Siebert joins me. He's across the street in front of Houston Public Library to explain how you can help out, and you can do it tonight. Larry?
Yes, Lynn, I want to show you something first. You look behind me, the Houston Public Library, they've set up a display with a portrait of Barbara Bush, lots and lots of flowers. There's even a string of pearls that they're setting right in front of that portrait. There are also billboards here where you can write a message to Barbara Bush's family, but there is a way you can stand for Houston and also honor Barbara Bush's memory and her legacy here with KHOU 11 News. As we know, literacy, a big part of her life, her passion, and her pursuit. The Barbara Bush Literacy Houston Foundation, they are collecting books, and we are collecting donations to give directly to the Barbara Bush Houston Literacy Foundation, as well as books between kids between 4 and 7 o'clock this evening down here on McKinney Street, across the street from City Hall, in front of the library here in the Barbara Bush Literacy Plaza. You can bring new or like new children's books. We're talking books for kids 8th grade and under. You can donate them to us, and we will give them to the Barbara Bush Houston Literacy Foundation. Also, if you come here to our booth, we will have cards that you can write messages directly to the Bush family, and we will make sure that the Bush family gets those. We would love to collect those. We would also love to get books for her passion and the Barbara Bush Houston Literacy Foundation. Lynn, back over to you.
All right, Larry, thank you so much. So there's a lot for you to do downtown. You can do what Larry suggested is to bring a book and leave a message in front of the Houston Public Library. And then at 6 o'clock, come right across the street and join the Celebration of Life, which will happen, which is run by Mayor Sylvester Turner, along with the Houston Children's Choir and several other prominent guests. We expect a lot of people to show up here on a gorgeous Thursday evening. The crowds will start to show up, and coming up at 5 o'clock, we'll show you more of the event that is unfolding here and talk to some of the people who will show up and honor Barbara Bush. Back to you.
It is gorgeous indeed. We'll see you then, Len. Thank you.
Well, you know, all week, Houstonians have been sharing their memories of Barbara Bush, and we heard about this one. President Bush went to Yale, which has a proud tradition of singing groups. And about a decade ago, Yale's New Blue, a woman's group, was performing in Houston, and Mr. Bush heard about it.
To ask if the singing group would mind stopping by to serenade Mrs. Bush on their 61st wedding anniversary. They were more than happy to do so, and I just think that that's one of the sweetest stories about the two of them and their love together.
That really is a sweet story. In fact, the impromptu event is mentioned on the group's webpage. The Bushes, of course, as you know, have been married for 73 years. Incredible. Always doing nice stuff for each other. That probably explains the longevity of their marriage.
And a beautiful night to honor Mrs. Bush. Will it stay beautiful throughout the night?
One of the neat things over the years, watching the Astros on TV,
yes.
You could always spot the Bushes there. So today we're just going to be showing our weatherbook shot here of Minute Maid Park here, which is just beautiful. There it is. They're growing grass there at one of our favorite places. It's a beautiful afternoon and evening in Houston. And the weather actually is going to end up being okay for all of the activities that are going on in the city over the next couple of days. Downtown from our tower camera here on the campus of the University of Houston is beautiful. It's 77. There's a northeast breeze. That's making everything feel wonderful. Dew points drop down to 41, relative humidity down to 28%. It feels good out there this afternoon. Temperatures will drop, so we're in the 70s now. By 9 o'clock, we're in the 60s area wide, even lower 60s up in Huntsville. And then we drop into the low 50s for tomorrow morning. In fact, Bush 52 in the morning, Hobby 52 in the morning. This is 7 a.m. Huntsville and Cleveland drop down to 48 tomorrow morning. So it will be a wee bit chilly for some of you as you start Friday morning. The clouds will thicken up during the day on Friday. This is going to help keep temperatures cooler tomorrow than they are today. In fact, by noon tomorrow, it's still only in the low to mid 60s at best. So it's a little cool out there, and there'll be an east breeze. High temps will struggle to make the 70-degree mark. This is 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon with Hobby at 68, Sugar Land at 68 as well. So tomorrow we'll struggle to make 70, most of the day in the 60s, comfortable. There's a slight chance for a sprinkle tomorrow for the visitation. Breezy east wind will turn into a breezy south wind on Saturday for the funeral. Temperatures in the mid-70s, a 50% chance for showers off and on during the day on Saturday. But the good news is it looks like our severe threat is kind of in the process of fizzling out. Storm Prediction Center now paints central and southeast Texas, including Houston and College Station, in the lowest risk category, a category 1, a marginal risk for severe storms during the day on Saturday. This means we'll probably just get passing showers and maybe a couple of thunderstorms, but nothing too big and bad. So here's the way the map looks like tomorrow, Friday. A lot of clouds, maybe a sprinkle, highs near 70, which sounds warm, but I'm telling you, with the clouds and that east breeze, we're going to spend most of the day in the 50s and 60s. Tomorrow's going to be a cool day. And then we get into Saturday. So we'll just call it a wet day with showers off and on, and then maybe an evening stronger storm. But yesterday, and this has continued today, the models have been more consistent in putting the severe threat well to the north along the Red River and into Oklahoma, while we get scattered showers off and on during the day, maybe one or two become a thunderstorm. This is Saturday night. Again, there's your severe threat up south of Little Rock, Arkansas. For us, a few showers and a south breeze Saturday night. And then Sunday, north breeze, and we'll begin to dry out. Maybe a shower early, then clearing on Sunday afternoon. So here's the way Friday is going to go. We'll start in the low 50s in the morning and still only mid-60s by lunchtime. Cloudy, a sprinkle possible, high near 70 tomorrow afternoon. The extended forecast, I'm going to call it a 50-50 chance for rain showers off and on Saturday. And then Sunday, the whole thing changes. We get that northwest wind. There's not a lot of cold air with this system, so I think we'll still make the 70s on Sunday. But look at next week. Lows in the 50s, highs in the upper 70s to low 80s. That is spectacular spring weather. Next week, we get a bunch of it.
And we can tell because you're saying it with a smile.
Yes, I'm happy to see that.
Thanks, Dave. The two men arrested at a Starbucks are sharing their side of the story now. The changes they want to see now that the company is in the hot seat.
And what is the reason a woman may have jumped on top of a school bus with kids inside?
The Philadelphia police commissioner is apologizing to the two black men who are arrested at a Starbucks there. And now those men are speaking out for the first time. Rashawn Nelson and Dante Robinson say the manager initially asked if she could get them some drinks or water. The men say they told her they were fine and that they were waiting to meet a business associate for a quick meeting. Within minutes, they say several police officers showed up asking them to leave immediately. Now those men are asking for meaningful change.
For young men to not be traumatized by this and instead motivated, inspired.
Well, Starbucks claims that store has a bathroom policy for paying customers only, unlike its other locations. The CEO of Starbucks, though, still promising change. More than 8,000 stores will be closed on May 29th to conduct anti-bias training for employees. All right, this would be unnerving to find a robber in your home or a burglar in your home, but an incident in Louisiana is also bizarre.
This is something. A homeowner catching a woman orange-handed with nowhere to run because Evelyn Washington, who is 29, faces burglary charges. A homeowner found her naked in a bathtub full of water eating Cheetos. Washington told police a man who she didn't know told her to break into that home. Video captures a crazy school bus incident in South Carolina.
Deputies say students were on board when a woman jumped onto the bus and climbed onto the hood and the window. She refused to get down for about an hour. No one was hurt, but it did confuse cars that were driving by. Deputies say the woman is being evaluated for mental health issues.
And finally, some good news. J.J. Watt is back in the spotlight. It's the huge recognition he's getting at the end of the month. Time magazine naming its top 100 most influential people in the world, and we know who made that list.
Of course we do. Houston favorite J.J. Watt. The issue comes out April 30th, and Houstonians agree the Texan star deserves this recognition. You remember he worked tirelessly after Hurricane Harvey to help those in need, raising $37 million to give back to the community. The Texans' defensive end was also last year's Sports Person of the Year, so we're looking forward to seeing him back on the field very soon.
Man has a very crowded trophy case. Coming up at 4:30 now, Barbara Bush leaving behind a huge impact in the fight against cancer. It's the incredible way she helped transform healthcare right here in Houston.
And a big change all airlines will undergo after that deadly Southwest jet engine explosion.